Hi, a viewer on YouTube asked me how to make intros in Jahshaka for basically videos, I'm guessing. So this is just something really quickly I made. Just have a look at it, if it ever loads up, that is. So as you can see, all it really is just my YouTube username appearing, but it's you got some fiery thing at the start of it. Of course, that was, as I said, a very quick test to show you what can be done. I'll literally go through very quickly how I did that, and maybe make another ad hoc one as well, just to show you the concepts. Because the thing about this, just like a couple of the other videos that I've done, is a lot of it is to do with your own creative preferences and what you want to do, rather than a set technique, as it were. But we shall go through. We shall go through. So the first thing I'll show you is a little thing. This fuse burn that I've got here, I'll actually put it in here. So I want to change that to NTSC DV because that's what that is. I'm going to click on add layer. Stick this fuse burn in. This is actually from videocopilot.net. They were giving it away free just to as random stock footage. So I downloaded it. I thought maybe one day it'll come in useful, and yeah, it did. This is what I used to create that little fiery effect. Uh, Again, I'm going to show you something, because just because you have stock footage doesn't mean you have to use that stock footage by itself. You can mix and match stock footage to effectively create completely brand new footage, and then use that somewhere else. And that's what we're going to do in this particular scene. If you give me a second. So I'm going to create my bottom layer and say fork, and the top layer is going to be middle. And what I'm going to do is going to get another copy of that fuse burn and stick it on top. Now that's all obviously completely synced up, so there we go. Now I'm going to click on add layer, and I'm going to click on mask. Some of you may be getting excited. This is just a very quick cheat that I did, and I'll add in the mask. There we go. Okay, for now I'm going to turn the mask off, and I'm going to turn the middle off. So I've just got the fork layer. Basically what I want is this little effectively fork that you see of fire. There we go. From there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag on my left hand side all the way till this red marker gets to the top, and then I'm going to scrub through until that fork basically disappears. So yeah, that's about there. Again, I'm going to scrub on my right hand side until the red marker gets to there. So now I've got what is roughly about 1 second's worth of footage. What I now want to do is I want to widen this up to give it a third fork in the middle, basically, hence there's a middle layer. So I'm going to X scale, change this in the X scale direction, just widen it up a bit. I think maybe a little bit more. There we go. And maybe just, yeah, actually, yeah, that should be fine. This is a very quick tutorial, so 60. And then basically all I'm going to do is go to the middle. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset this, so that way we have the fork isn't overlaying, because as I said, it's all synchronized at the moment. So if I click on key, you can see what's underneath first. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my X translation to bring it over, and my Y translation to bring it over our footage underneath, because obviously now that we've stretched that, it's slightly off kilter. Go back to the media. Now under video options there's that 0. That 0 basically is for offsetting time. So as we turn it to the left, you see we get single flames, and same thing as we turn it to the right. I'm just trying to look for a decent flame shot, and I think that could be it. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to scale this. Place it in the middle. And as you can see, we've now got 3 separate flames burning. Now the mask, all I did really was I got a picture, a snapshot. I went into GIMP and literally copied across this part here. So maxed out this part by making a black mask, because I knew all I was going to have is a black background and the rest is transparent. If I close that, go into Jahshaka and add my mask on, as you can see, therefore it gets rid of everything. I obviously need to position it properly. Yeah, that should be fine, and just scrub through to make sure that looks fine. Maybe bring the mask up a bit. There we go. So now what one would do is just render this out. So remember to put it at the start. Right click here on the, left click on the right hand side there. Right, so if you were really good and organised, you'd now save this scene just in case you want to come back to it later, but meh, can't be bothered. So if we now look, this is our actual clip that we just made. Alright, and if you scrub it from the start, it runs, and then after about a second it stops running and you're thinking, what's the point of that? Well, to get around that, you go to the media tab, and down under video options is the loop option. Click loop, and now it will loop, which is nice of it. Using this now, everything else is pretty simple. You just do a simple fade. So if you click on add, let's say some 3D text. For now, I'm going to name this layer fire first. And I'm going to make it invisible, 3D text. Let's call it welcome. And I don't know how to spell welcome, which is a bit embarrassing. There we go. Welcome. I don't like it being so depthy wisey extruded in term. There we go. I think that should be fine in terms of extrude. Now this looks a bit dull, to be honest, so I'm gonna color this thing up. Let's say red. And you can add fonts, and you can actually add your own fonts. You can go online, download some fonts, and then just stick them in the Jahshaka fonts folder, and it will actually come in here. So let's try this Hawaii Killer. I think I did download a couple of new fonts, but I can't bloody remember, for a while ago now. But let's just say this font you want, and that looks okay, I think. Then to make it even nicer, you can looking even nicer, you can actually add a light to it. The problem what happens with the lights is when you add a light, the color that you've assigned generally goes, but if you change the color of the light, it'll work, don't worry. So it actually looks a bit more metallic, to be honest. And there we go. Now we can actually change the position of said light to make it even look even different. But yeah, actually I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So what we want to do now is on the left hand side here, this checkbox, this eye box, we want to click that so that we can't see that big blue thing, because that's a bit annoying really. But that's our text that we want to reveal. So I'm going to bring that down, sorry, and our fire will basically go across it, and then we're just going to have a reveal. Now the reveal can be anything, so it can be as simple as let's go into editing, paint module. If you click snapshot, and now if we were to bring this into the animation module, click add layer and bring that paint image, literally it would be snap, and then let's say at the 3-second mark, bring this over to the side, click plus, there you have your reveal. And then what you would do is you could time the fire. So if we go down and call that name reveal layer, add on the fire, what we're going to do is we're going to rotate it first. If I remember which way I got to rotate it, bring it down a little bit. Go to media, click key so you can see underneath what's going on. Go back to controls, place it where you want to place it. So I want it off the screen now at the moment. Click plus keyframe. Now as we go back, I want this to basically be wherever the reveal is, so that's where the reveal just starts. So what I'll do is I'll change the X translation of this to match up with that. There. Plus keyframe. And then here I'll just match it up to be here. And now we have, which you might be thinking, looks a bit weird. What you can now, if you don't like this, because for example, this is a really hard edge, and it's not one of my personal preferences in terms of how hard it is. In fact, I'd prefer it to be a lot softer. The other thing is obviously this is a bit further down here, but I'm doing this literally off the fly, so it's a very quick thing. But what you can do is go into editing. Sorry, paint. Get the box tool. Change your pen to green and your fill to green. Click OK. Make sure it's all maximized. So green and black, yeah, green and black. Click snapshot, and you're going to get a green and black image. And now you're going to go into animation, and your reveal, what you'll do is you'll put your paint image on top. I hope you can kind of see where I'm going now. If you click on layers, chroma key, CPU, and now we need to actually find out what you need to do for that. So go into Kia from your main module, click the eyedropper tool, go over into your left hand side in the preview window, and as you can see it becomes green. Click green and it'll tell you what color that you need to choose. So if you go to axis tab, it says 01910, 208, 256, 204, and literally you just translate them straight into the control section of the chroma key. So 01910, that was 204, that was 208, and this was 268, I think, 298, something like that. But as you can see, now the blacks remained, but this part needs to be redone. That's not a problem. So first thing is we need to get rid of these keyframes. So by using the keyframe buttons, I'm just deleting the keyframes now. So now there's no keyframes left. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this reveal, this chroma key reveal, and what I'll do is I shall get the main layer, scale it a bit, there we go, that's all I need. And then what I'll do is I'll click on layer, CPU, Gaussian blur, whack up the horizontal blur, and as you can see, if you can't see this, basically this is now what it looks like. The reveal, we now have a graduated mask effectively, and as we pull it back, this mask comes alive. So I'm gonna delete some of these keyframes. So now, as we can see, we want our welcome. Get hold of your control layer and stick it there. Click plus. We'll wait for 1 second or something. Click plus. And then over a second, we shall hit it off. Click plus. So literally we have, after 1 second, it gets revealed. So at 1 second, I want my fire to come in and line up with this. Click plus. And yeah, I want my fire to line up. Yeah, click plus. And then we can move the fire off anywhere we want, really. Obviously you'd time that a lot nicer and stuff. Get rid of the world. And there you go. You have a very a smoother coming of a. In the original, obviously, I had it go around the other way, but you can, as I've shown you, you can do it any way you want, really. Some of you may be thinking about getting rid of this side. Again, that's all to do with. Let me just get rid of this welcome. That's all to do with literally just how much you expand your image. So you can basically go reveal. It's because my scale was undone. Sorry. There we go. Click plus. So 92. Come here. I'm going to change that to 92. Click plus. At the end, click 92. Click plus. There we go. So all in all, this is what we've just created. Ooh. This reveal is not 92 at that point. I must have forgotten to click the here we go. There we go. So as we can see, the fire comes in and then we get a reveal. I've done this very quickly, so there is a bit of quirkiness on it, but that is basically how you could do it. And then obviously from this you can go even further if you want. So let's completely clear this thing now, and it's going to be a brand new thing that we're going to do. Let's say we'll have, trying to think now what we should do. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll have a layer, change that to polygon, bring it out here. I'm just going to leave it at Jahshaka for now. Click on, so we're going to have Jahshaka. I want to actually fade this in and out really, so I'm going to click on snapshot, take a snapshot of that, bring it, delete that, add layer, and there we go. So I want to fade this in now, so it'll be 0 over half a second, it fades in. And then what we'll do is at about 2 seconds we'll have an explosion. So what we'll do is we'll have the flame the fuse burn come through. Now as you can see with the fuse burn, it starts at one side and then it kind of comes all the way down. So I'm going to key it so I can see what I'm doing underneath. Change my rotation on it. decrease the size. I'll probably have to change that in a bit, but that's fine. So now I've got to look at this bit fuse, and I notice it's actually traveling down that way. So actually I want to rotate it this way. So let's say it's coming from below. And what I shall do is come to the 3 second, was it the 3 second mark or the 2 second mark? We said 2 second mark. I'm going to put this just up here to the Jahshaka sign. Click plus. I'm going to go back to the point in which I made my first transparency adjustment. Go back to my fuse burn layer, click, and then drop that layer down. So as you can see, we've got a fuse coming up. Now you could have obviously a fuse wire, and then you'd have again a mask showing it burn off or whatever, going to there. And then when we get to the 2 second mark, I want to have an explosion, so I should start naming these. Fuse name jar name explode. Otherwise you get very confused very quickly. I'm going to take another piece of stock footage that I had, and this piece I just want a single part in it. I want that part there. I'll take it from there. So that's 8 frames in, so I want it to slip in at 8 frames because I don't want any more than that. In fact, I know that now, so what I'm going to do is slip in at 8 frames and out at 1 second 20, so 60 odd frames. Oh, I said 25 frames a second, so that's not even 50, 45 frames. There we go, that's perfect. And as I said, we want it to slip in at 8. So we literally have this cut here now. We literally have, all we have is this. And then we want to place it at the 2 second mark. So I'm going to change that to 50, because our frame rate is 25 frames per second. So to get it to the 2 second mark, you have to put it at the 50th frame. There we go. Click on key, and this is what you get. Except for that's on top. And as that goes off, what we're going to do is we're going to, oops, sorry, go to the 2 second mark, click add keyframe, and then at, for example, at the height of this fireball, we're going to stretch this thing out a bit. Click plus, and then when it goes down, we'll click it back to 0. There we go. Now at the 2 second mark, just after the 2 second mark, I want this fuse to no longer be visible. So I'm going to go back to the 2 second mark and make sure I've got a keyframe set. About 210, I think. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that fuse. Click. Oh, shite. I just put it back. Click plus. Get rid of that. Click plus. And there we go. So as we come in, fuse comes in, bang. Now we get rid of the Jahshaka. So to get rid of the Jahshaka, we'll make it a little bit simple for now. So at the 2 second mark, at the 210, sorry, 28, 210 there. Click plus keyframe, and then by there we'll get rid of that. And now we're going to click on add layer 3D text, go to that and go presents, stick it there, go all the way down. But the main thing now is that one. I don't want it visible until this starts going away, so that's where I want it visible. So I'm going to click on plus keyframe. I'm going to go one keyframe before that. Actually, I'm going to cheat a bit. I'm going to take a snapshot because I think this will look better. And get rid of that. Click add layer. Move to the bottom. Add my presents on top of that. And at this point, I'll click on control. Sorry, this point here. Click on control. Click transparency is 0. Click plus. And by the time we get to here, we'll bring the transparency right up. So now what we've created is this. Fade into Jahshaka as we get a fuse come up. Fuse causes an explosion. Jahshaka disappears. We get presents. Very simple. Yeah, you stick that on the front of something, people think actually this person's put some time and effort in. As I said, these are very, very quick examples. And the main thing I want you to take away from there is literally how you'd get around certain problems that you might find. But a lot of this that you might find unique to Jahshaka, but a lot of what you're doing here, you do in After Effects, in Motion, or any other type of compositing software, or even editing software to create an intro. If you actually look at intros, that's all they are. It's just a bunch. The more complex ones are just a bunch of layers stuck together that are timed effectively to make it look good. So the biggest limiting factor in this really is your own imagination and what you want to do out of it. As you can see, obviously sometimes doing masking is a bit harder in Jahshaka, but there are ways around it, like I showed you how to do with the green and the black. But as I said, there are ways around it. Also, mixing and matching the stock footage, like that's the animation clip, the fuse burn, the animation clip we originally created. That's a unique clip now. It doesn't exist anywhere else in the world because I took a clip and I manipulated it and changed it. So unless someone has the exact same wavelength that I was on, I very much doubt they got the exact same thing. And that's something that's really easy to do that can then help your footage get a unique look, because often you're on YouTube and you'll see a bunch of people have done a bunch of action, a bunch of effects, and then you're like, action essentials, or this stock pack or that stock pack. Well, you can take that stock pack and manipulate it yourself and use it, because at the end of the day, as long as you've got it legally, you should have the right to do that. And by doing that, you've got a brand new thing, and that, as far as I'm aware, because you've created effectively a new thing, you should be okay to do it. And it's not it also makes it stand out, because people are then like, oh, this person isn't just using a certain stock pack, or at least is going beyond that stock pack and developing themselves further. I think in the long run, that's one of the biggest things that you need to learn, is just obviously how to mix and match stuff and how to time it up. Like, I have to admit, I'm not even the best on that myself, but I hope this helped. Just a very quick tutorial. I know it is a bit ad hoc, and at times I was changing my mind a little bit. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll see what I can do, and thank you. Bye.